Welcome to Q's on the Move. My name is Brother Dr. Lorenzo Perlman, and I am the Munu Chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated Vice Bossless and Advisor for Social Action, Fatherhood Initiative, and Mentoring Committee. Today's podcast will focus on the great work that Munu Chapter is doing in Montgomery County and throughout the 2nd District. My co-host this evening is Brother Jason Miller, Munu Chapter Social Action Chairman. Before we begin tonight's podcast, I would like to take a few minutes to give a brief overview of Munu Chapter. Munu Chapter is a graduate chapter in Montgomery County, Maryland, that has been serving the community for over 52 years, serving the families of Montgomery County students. It is also the home to the 16th, 34th, and 37th 2nd District representative of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. We have over 130 active members of our chapter, and our focus is on issues concerning social action, mentoring, health and wellness, political action, and fundraising for scholarships. Today's first podcast segment is about Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Inc. Fatherhood Initiative and Mentoring Program. Brother Donald Williams, the 2nd District Fatherhood Initiative and Mentoring Committee Chair, wants to encourage all 2nd District chapters of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, Inc. to be intentional about developing in-person and virtual programs aimed at mentoring young people and helping men become better fathers. We would like to welcome this evening Brother Jason Miller, Social Action Chairman for Munu Chapter. Thank you for joining us this evening.
I appreciate you having me, Brother Dr. Perlman.
All right, Brother Chairman, let's get right into it. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, many organizations have been trying to restart their after-school, Saturday school, and even mentoring programs. However, the Munu Chapter Bridge Builder Mentor Program has utilized the virtual tools of Zoom to continue mentoring young people. Briefly talk about the Bridge Builder Mentor Program and the impact the program is having on young people in Montgomery County, Maryland.
Excellent question, Brother Dr. Perlman. The Bridge Builder Mentoring Program is a program for our young males to get an in-depth sessions or learning sessions on those life skills that aren't taught but are expected to know. So as we go through each session, and our sessions are bi-weekly, so every other Saturday morning from 10 to 11, as you mentioned, virtually, and we go through different topics. And you can see a couple of them to the right: anti-racist and anti-bias education. And we make sure that when we go into these sessions, that we provide that need to know information that helps our young people become more equipped for society, especially as young men of color, or young men of any color, as I should say, and just helping them to become better men of character.
Excellent, excellent. So when we talk about the mentor program, when do the mentor sessions take place? You said every other Saturday. Mm-hmm. And when we talk about keeping the students engaged, how do you keep the students engaged, early in the morning on Saturday?
Well, it is a tough time for our young males, as it's one of their days off. They go through intense, education throughout the week. And then we ask them to come on at 10 o'clock in the morning for an hour to engage us and get those life skills. One of our biggest things is that we incentivize our young males. And like I said, although the information is very important, sometimes you got to keep their attention. So with those incentives, we do gift cards and we do money questions, to where some of the questions that are in the sessions are built into the sessions. Students are able to get money from them, gift cards, because we know education pays. As you get older and accumulate and accrue those education degrees, your socioeconomic status and your finances go up. So what we do is we, like I said, incentivize our young males to, engage and we also do attendance raffles, etc., just to get them engaged and wonder. And we also provide them with, something that they may not see on their everyday life. Men of color and of status within the Montgomery County area in fields that they may want to go to in the future.
All right, excellent. Yeah, I think I heard two things. One, you stated that education pays, so really trying to send that message to our students with those incentives, and then the whole concept: I cannot be what I cannot see. So having men of color in prominent positions, from doctors to lawyers to educators, that they can interact with on a daily, on a biweekly basis, is definitely great for their future goals, career goals that they may have. So excellent job. So again, I want to thank you for taking the time to share that important work of mentoring youth with our podcast listeners this evening. And I wish you continued success with the Menu Chapter Bridge Builder Mentor Program.
Thank you, Brother Perlman. If I can add one more thing,
Sure.
Anybody on right now or who may be listening that would like to get their students involved, get their child involved, I can be reached at jason.miller0587@gmail.com. And you can shoot me an email and I can get you all of the information that you may need.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much. All right. So we're going to now transition to our next podcast segment, and that will focus on the Menu Chapter Social Action Program. Brother Jason Miller, who is the chairman of Menu Chapter Social Action Committee, he will talk a little bit this evening about and share with us a little bit about the service work that Menu Chapter is doing. All right, so let's get right into the conversation, Brother Miller. Brother Miller, please tell our listeners this evening a little bit about the purpose of the Menu Chapter Social Action Program.
The number one thing that comes to mind when we talk about social action is service. Being and serving our community, being, men who go out into the community, Montgomery County area, and work alongside with its community members and organizations. So our biggest thing is to collaborate with different organizations so that we can, one, build our network. And one of my mentors once told me that we're always operating in isolation. So we try to break that isolation, come together and combine with other organizations, whether that be D9, business organizations, nonprofit organizations, or just people in the community. And we combine and bring our resources together to be able to provide programs for the community, for our youth and for our community members.
Excellent. Excellent. Can you please tell us just a little bit about some of the service projects you have completed over the past few months?
Oh, yes, most definitely. We just completed our Toys for Tots and Teens, where we collect or we have our yearly chapter holiday party, where we had the idea once upon a time where we would do a white elephant. Everybody brings a gift, and we kind of, pass those around. But a couple of years ago, we decided to transition from that white elephant and have brothers and everybody who attends that annual holiday party bring a gift so that we can then donate them to needy families during that holiday time. Because as we all know, regardless on where you are, where your status is, that Christmas time can be very financially burdensome. So we try to alleviate some of those burdens by donating these gifts to needy families in the Montgomery County area. We also just finished our MLK transitional basket toy drive, which I will delve deeper into in our next portion of this segment. But it's just where brothers come together, donate different supplies for individuals who are transitioning into the shelter or transitioning out of the shelter, so they can have some of those basic essentials that they may need to make that transition a little bit more easier to do.
So excellent. Thank you for sharing that. I want to just go back to the toy drive for a moment. What is the name of the organization that Menu Chapter partners with to make sure needy families have toys for the holidays?
Well, we partner with the Housing Opportunity Commission. It's our voucher system here in Montgomery County, where these families are burdened or have those voucher for their housing. And so we know how that could be very, very burdensome during that Christmas time. So we collaborated and reached out to HOC out in Olney, the Town Center Place location and the Sandy Springs location. And we just have gifts. We had this year, as you can see in the picture to the right, we had over $5,000 worth of gifts and gift cards to give to these families. So it wasn't just families coming and getting one gift or two. Families were able to take home about 5 to 6 gifts per family, per young individual. We had about 30 to 40 families come and participate. And I really want to just thank the Brotherhood for coming together and bringing this, making this wonderful, our fourth annual Toys for Tots and Teen Service Project, a huge success. And those families were so very grateful.
Yeah, and when we talk about this toy drive, obviously 4 years running, it has made a difference for those families who are part of the HOC community. And when we talk about satisfaction from this particular drive, what is the level of satisfaction you and your committee members receive from providing this important service project to families in Montgomery County, Maryland?
I mean, it's just the gratification of being able to help someone else out. That's probably the biggest reward, I would say. Doing this event, is one of the highlights of our program and one of the highlights of our year. Just being able, as I mentioned in the beginning, to just serve and be of service to our community members, and to see the smiles on their faces, or just the sigh of relief, to be able to have these gifts. Give these gifts to their young individuals is just the biggest reward I can ever imagine.
All right, excellent. Minu chapter is definitely doing great things in the community and helping to serve and meet the needs of families in the, again, HOC community. So a job well done. Let's transition to that MLK Day of Service project that was recently completed.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about the MLK Day of Service. I mean, this is a project, as we all know, that many fraternities and sororities participate in it annually. But what does the MLK Day of Service mean for you and the Brothers of Munu chapter?
This program for the committee and the Brothers of our Munu chapter is just another way of us serving our community and being of service, helping them, as I mentioned before, helping these individuals who are transitioning in or out of this their current living situation, and just having those essential needs. We kind of take those things for granted, but when individuals who aren't as fortunate to be able to purchase these on a regular basis, and to be able to give that or afford that that luxury is phenomenal. So we collaborated with the MCAC, the Delta Sigma Theta chapter of Montgomery County alumni chapter, and every year they rent out the Civic Center and do a number of different projects, and it's a beautiful event. This was actually our first year in person. And in the previous years, we had to, transition and do other things. But this year was just amazing. We had so many different people of color and so many different people from the Montgomery County and surrounding areas come together. And our specific projects were one for the essential needs, essential supplies for those transitional baskets. Each basket, we had about 50 to 55 baskets, and each one of them had soap and razor blades and shaving cream and towels and washcloths, and just those very vital things that we may, like I said, take for granted and say, oh, well, that's not a big deal. But these are monumental things, everyday products that some people have to go without because they aren't able to do so. So being able to do that, provide those or put those transitional baskets together, phenomenal. And then our second project that we do on that day is kitchen supplies for the Shepherd's Table transitional home. Their kitchen feeds close to I would want to say about 150 to 200 individuals a night who aren't able who aren't able to attain meals for themselves. And so we come together, and we also bring items to supply their kitchen as well, so they can, better serve the community when they are feeding our needy families and needy individuals. And we also volunteer there as well to serve those dinners once a month, which we will start back in very soon.
All right, excellent work that your committee and the Brothers Immunity Chapter are doing. And so again, I want to thank you for providing us with this important update regarding Immunity Chapter and the Toys for Tots and Teens and the MLK Day of Service project.
I very much so appreciate it. All right, so we're going to actually transition and talk about our MCPS HBCU Divine Nine panel discussion, which will be coming up next month. The Montgomery County Public School MCPS 15th Annual HBCU College Fair will take place on Friday, February 17th, from 6 to 7:30 p.m. One of the highlights of the HBCU College Fair is the HBCU Divine Nine panel discussion. So we have one of the individuals from that panel discussion, my host, Brother Dr. Lorenzo Perlman, who's going to talk to us, go in depth with what that Divine Nine panel discussion entails. So let's jump right into the conversation. Dr. Perlman, first tell us about the 15th Annual MCPS HBCU College Fair.
Well, again, this is an annual event that is held each year at the Universities of Shady Grove. The past 2 years has been virtually, and we have been very creative. MCPS has been very creative in making those modifications to have this program virtually online. We are very fortunate to be back in person this year at the Universities of Shady Grove on Friday, February 17th. Among the panel discussion, in which I host every year with members of the Divine Nine. There are other, of course, things happening at the fair. We have workshops for students who are interested in applying to HBCUs. We have organizations that have opportunities for students who are seniors to sign up for scholarship money to be available to them once they enroll into an HBCU. So it's a very, very an important event. We want to make sure that our students in Montgomery County know about the benefits of attending historically Black college and university. So we look forward to another great event this year.
Excellent. And as someone who served on the IT committee for those virtual events, I can tell you so much insightful and in-depth information is disseminated through those sessions, and from those panel discussions, you can really feel the you can get a little sense of the HBCU experience just from how passionate our panelists are on that discussion board. I heard, Brother Perlman, that there are so many positive comments about the HBCU Divine Nine panel discussion. Tell our listeners about the purpose of the HBCU Divine Nine panel discussion.
Yeah. Thank you, Brother Miller, for the question. When we talk about the purpose is really about, again, education, making sure that students of MCPS and their families are educated about the importance of attending the HBCU, some of the benefits of attending the HBCU, where you have, in many cases, smaller class sizes where students are not just a number, where they develop personal relationships with their professors, and they are provided with the skills they needed to really be change makers out there in the world. And so, it's a very important session to ensure that our students, particularly our students of color, have the knowledge they need to make the best educational decision for their post-secondary education. So we try to provide that form for them. And I would tell you, far as for the members of MUNU chapter, we take this on personally each year, as we have our Rudolph W. Snowden Memorial Scholarship that focuses on providing scholarships to male seniors at MCPS that we give away money to each year. So we have a really personal connection the Brothers of Munu chapter does with this particular event.
Outstanding, outstanding. And both as professionals in the educational systems, we know how important that education is. All right. How will members, as you mentioned about the members of Munu chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, how are the members or how is the Brotherhood of Munu involved or get involved with the HBCU Divine Nine panel discussion?
Yeah, really, it's more about serving on the panel, sharing their experiences, also working behind the scenes in the planning committee with Montgomery County Public Schools to make sure we have this event that takes place without a hitch. And we've been very successful over the past several years making sure that this particular event is well marketed and well known, and many students in Montgomery County have benefited from this program, where they have gotten, on the spot admissions. They have gotten on the spot scholarship money, and so we couldn't ask for anything more with regards to that.
Outstanding, outstanding. And final question: in previous years, there's been a lot of attention being given to the HBCUs, with some of our sports related fields and, the NBA All-Star game. How can our listeners assist Munu chapter with raising funds to support our HBCUs, our historically Black colleges and universities?
Yeah, for all of our listeners out there, many of our organizations, the Divine Nine, for our fraternal sororities, they hold fundraisers every year to support scholarships for HBCUs. And so I would encourage many of our listeners, podcast listeners, whether you're a part of a fraternal organization or sorority or not, to support it by, donating money for this cause. If you think about members of your family, I'm sure there may be one or two members of your family who has attended an HBCU. And because of that, not just that individual has benefited from an HBCU, but the entire family has, as a result of that person receiving that education. So let's make sure we support our HBCUs by donating whenever we can.
Outstanding, outstanding. All right. Thank you again, Brother Perlman, for providing us with this important update about the annual HBCU Divine Nine panel discussion and its impact on African American students' decision to attend our HBCUs. All right. We're going to go ahead and quickly transition into our final segment of the night, which focuses on our Munu Chapter Foundation work. Munu Chapter's foundation raises money each year to support the great service work that the chapter does throughout the Montgomery County, Maryland. One of the main fundraising events for the foundation is the annual Mardi Gras fundraiser. The Mardi Gras event is back again in 2023 and is ready to invite supporters of Munu chapter back to a great fundraising experience. Brother Perlman, can you please provide our podcast listeners with the purpose or objectives behind the annual Mardi Gras fundraiser?
Sure. When we talk about the Mardi Gras fundraiser from Munu, this is a well-known event. This is the major fundraiser for the chapter. The money that we raise from this one event supports many of our programs that we have to serve the community, whether it be our talent hunt program, whether it be our social action programs that we have. The funds that are raised from this one event really supports many of the programs that we run throughout the year. So I really encourage everyone, besides being at a great time, you get a chance to also help us raise some money for a great cause.
And let's not forget about our Achievement Week that highlights our young men of color in high school getting ready to go to college who are just phenomenal in the classroom and in their everyday life. I hear these students and I'm like, how are these GPAs possible? We 4.2s and 4.4s, but these young individuals are maintaining those GPAs while doing their extracurricular activities. And this event also supports that wonderful cause as well. Excellent. So when and where will the 2023 Munich Mardi Gras fundraising event take place?
Yeah, it will be taking place on Friday, March 10th. And the event location is Martin Crosswinds in Greenbelt, Maryland. The event will be from 8:30 to 1:30 a.m. So we have extended the time this year so people could have a little more time to enjoy this wonderful event. When we go to the cost of this event, you can find the cost of it on Eventbrite. The tickets will range based upon the date and that you have purchased the ticket. But the cost of the ticket will run for anywhere from $115 to $160, whether or not you purchase a regular admission or VIP. But we encourage all those who are, interested in attending to go to Eventbrite to purchase your tickets. Again, Friday, March 10th is the date.
And as me and my wife have attended the Mardi Gras for the last 6 or 7 years, I can tell you it's an amazing time. And remember, the fundraising is the most important piece because it does support our social action and scholarship events. Outstanding, outstanding. What is the cost? I heard you mention. I wasn't really sure. What is the cost for this fundraising event? How are the monetary funds raised for this event and used by the Mayunu Foundation?
All right. So very briefly, as we are, coming to the end of our segment this evening, just wanted to talk a little bit about the what the patrons can look forward to. So again, a great time. Again, a chance to raise money for a great cause to support many of the programs that the chapters operates off of each year to ensure that students and families in Montgomery County have the resources they need in being residents of Montgomery County, Maryland. So that is our job and that's our duty as a chapter.
Outstanding. Thank you, Brother Dr. Perlman, for sharing information on Munu Chapter's premier fundraising event. We look forward to seeing all of the Munu supporters in attendance at the important event. We will now move to sharing information on upcoming podcast topics for Tuesday, Friday, February 27th.
All right. Thank you, Brother Miller. So as we close out the podcast segment for this evening, just want to let you know, many of our listeners know about some of our upcoming future events that we'll talk about. We have the George B. Thomas Senior Learning Academy located in Montgomery County, Maryland. And we'll talk about the work that the organization is doing to support the Montgomery County public school system with mitigating learning loss of students impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. 2, we'll talk about the Rudolph W. Snow Memorial Scholarship Fund board members and the work that they're doing to raise funds for students attending historically Black colleges and universities. We also will be talking about the upcoming Munu Chapter Talent Hunt program. This is something that you cannot afford to miss, that the Brothers of Munu Chapter will be holding on March 19th in Albany, Maryland. And finally, we'll talk a little bit about our upcoming Game Changer Conference scheduled for March 25th at the Universities of Shady Grove. So in closing this evening, we want to thank you for joining this podcast segment of Q's on the Move. The next Q's on the Move podcast segment will be held on, again, Tuesday, February 27th at 8 o'clock p.m. I would like to share with you this evening these final words. As we conclude our podcast segment this evening, please keep in mind everything Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. fought and died for to create a more tolerant America. Do not let the events of the past week distract you from the ongoing push toward achieving everlasting equality for all groups of people who are not always treated as equal in America. Until next time, be the change you wish to see in the world. Be well and stay safe. Have a great evening.
Thank you.